All right, so we're a little past the hour. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll keep posting the agenda in the chat there. Loving the comments here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I believe Andrew, you're going to go first here. Is that correct? Just introduction, and then we'll move over to Mark for showing off the new releases.
Yeah. Well, hi, everybody. I have met many of you, but not all of you before. My name is Andrew Firsty Henry. I'll put my name actually on the Zoom thing in a minute here. I didn't realize I had turned into dev team. Anyway, I'm newly re-employed at Bywater in a position we're calling pipeline coordinator. The intent of coordinating the development pipeline across Bywater's multiple products, including Aspen, to kind of, yeah, help the community move developments forward, help track what people are looking for, what we're working on, when everything's gonna arrive. Yeah, so I've probably met most of you, many of you, either in Bywater stuff, was previously with them for a while as a Koha educator, or more recently, I've been with the Dubuque County Library District in Asbury, Iowa, and saw many of you in the Slack partners channel for Aspen there. Anyway, so I'm here to just kind of say hi. You'll be seeing more of me. Looking forward to talking to you all about the cool stuff you want Aspen to learn to do. I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of where Bywater is at with Aspen right now. We're putting a lot of work right now into sort of systemsy background stuff, clearing up some like indexing and faceting issues with an eye towards speed and performance. We've got some like indexing jobs that are running for hours and hours that we're hoping to get down to fewer hours, make those things move a little more quickly. We are, so I've got my list here and I put it somewhere funny. We have started up an Aspen crowdfunding page. If you're a Koha library, you've probably seen our Koha crowdfunding page that's been around forever. We're looking to adapt that same idea to Aspen to sort of get a list of ideas out of sort of big picture stuff that maybe one library isn't ready to tackle all on their own, but we'd love to help people group up together to pay for. There is not much on that page yet because we're really looking for fun ideas. So please do start, throw us any cool pie in the sky Aspen ideas you have. We've got some things we just haven't quite gotten up there yet, but look for more to come. Similarly, I'm sure y'all have talked about Jira and the exciting new Aspen Jira page where we can list Jira issues. We've got kind of a big pile of known Aspen issues that we hadn't previously had a nice place to put all of them. So we're in the process of moving those into the Jira for Aspen, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to expose all of that in like a good open source sense, like so everybody can see what's going on and sort of the known things. Get more eyes on them, get them moving toward fixing up. Oh, good. Somebody put the crowdfunding page in the chat. Thank you, Lauren. And yeah, we're working with PTFS in England to move some devs forward. They have recently completed coding on the community engagement module, and we're just starting testing with that. The community engagement module is not a name that means a ton to me. In my head, I'm calling it legume pile because it's kind of like Beanstack. Yeah, and that's a fun development that I'm looking forward to playing with more. Oop, yep. Thank you, Katrina, for the Koha crowdsourcing link there. And thank you, Emily, for laughing at my stupid joke. Very much appreciated. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Bywater stuff. We're putting a lot of effort right now into sort of tidying and getting ready to move into more bigger projects.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
I go over and just some new Aspen partners. And then as we have other support agencies start adding more, we'll make sure we add those, but these are still the Bywater ones. So Kate?
Yes, welcome. I think the banner says it all. I have a pleasure of welcoming the SHARE, the Illinois Heartland Library System, to Aspen. They join us on the Polaris ILS, and this is a continuous welcome, as it was an implementation that was done in multiple phases, as it contains almost 500 unique catalogs in the system. So this is the largest consortium in North America, so we're really pumped you folks are here, so welcome. Please have a look at how many academic, public, school libraries they have. There's plenty of goodies on their catalog, so again, welcome, Share. And another welcome today goes to Ossipee Public Library in Northern New Hampshire Library Cooperative. Also, welcome, happy you're here. They're joining us on both COA and Aspen. So welcome to Open Source, welcome to Bywater.
Thanks, Kate. And that was quite the undertaking at Share. And if Cal was here, we'd all give her a big round of applause because she did a lot of work on that. So I'm reposting the agenda. And so next, I think Jordan, right?
Yeah. So I'm working with a tool selection work group, and we finally selected a tool. So yay, there's a link to that in the agenda. And we've selected Jira, and right now the group is going to continue to meet to configure Jira just to make sure that it has everything that we need. So we're not going to be putting everything in there yet, but we are doing something. So the link that I posted for the year in review or the 2024 shelved, we can start learning how it works before we kind of formalize everything. To view all the different issues, you don't need a login, but if you want to comment on issues, like if you find an issue, you do need a login. Also within the agenda, our 2 links to get yourself an account. So you will be automatically approved if you use those links from the agenda. Jira is the tool that we're using for tickets. And then there is a related wiki that we're testing for QA and for documentation. And you just kind of need both. So you have to click on both of those links. And those links only work for 30 days. After that, you can still request a login. It's just that somebody has to approve you. So if you're interested in working on configuring that with us, our meetings are every other week. And our next meeting is a week from this coming Monday. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Jordan. And I think I got out of place on a thing. If you also want to go over what's coming real quick.
Sure. Bill asked me to talk about just what Grove is working on for the next few releases. One thing for the year in review that Mark showed, I don't know if you noticed, but the titles that it's recommending for next year were kind of long. We realized a slide doesn't hold those long titles with authors. So we're going to play around a little bit this week with showing book covers instead of those. It'll just be a little bit more visual. So there might be some changes there. But our big features that are coming, we're going to see about January, holidays are coming, but definitely for the February releases, we have a couple new things. One is multiple pickup locations for a single branch in Polaris. So if your library has your normal whole pickup branch, and then you also have a drive-up window or a location that you use for curbside, Aspen will be able to support both of those locations. The patrons can decide which of those sub-locations they want to pick up their book at. Now, that's only for Polaris libraries. However, what it is introducing into Aspen is the concept of a sub-location. So a sub-location, if you think in a branch, is a place within a branch. So your hold shelf, for example, but it can also be something like a meeting room. So, or an event space. So if you start to think about events in Aspen, we're going to need those sub-locations. And speaking of events in Aspen, we're actually talking to a couple of different libraries about doing events in Aspen, like a native event platform. A couple of libraries are working on a specification with us. So if you are interested in working on that with us, please reach out to me. Another thing that those sub-locations would be good for even things like just room bookings. So if you have the ability to book meeting rooms, those are the kind of things that we're looking at those sub-locations for. The other thing that we're going to be adding, and that one was sponsored by GMilks, so thank you very much to them. And then the next one is something sponsored by Metropolitan. It's the ability to add local administrators to Aspen without those administrators needing to be authenticated against the ILS. So we've had a number of libraries ask about that, and thank you to Metropolitan for sponsoring that development as well. We'll also have a few other small things coming from like San Luis Obispo, McFliss, but they kind of get to prioritize those as we go. So we'll see what, we'll have some other small goodies for you coming. I think that's it.
Thanks, Jordan. Those are exciting. Love to see things coming in the future, so thank you. A couple of other ones that we have on the list here, if you go back to the agenda, we have the Aspen community meeting. I think Tara wasn't going to be able to speak today, so I'm just posting that meeting in there. I would encourage folks to join that. The last one had a really robust conversation about features people wanted to add, and folks got to vote on it. So the more folks from the community that go, the better off we, more input we get, better off it is with what y'all will see. So posted that link in there. Also the government's update. Aaron was kind enough, Aaron Skog was kind enough to do a recap. He did put it in the Aspen Slack channel, but we also did a recap here on the agenda. So I won't read that for you all, but y'all can take a look at that. And if you have questions, feel free. The other one I want to make sure of is just all of the community meetings that are coming up. So we'll post a link to the community meetings again. I think the Symphony, the consortium one's coming up soon. Also developer one is next week. So there's several before the holiday before we take a break. So
I have a question. With developments, if you have multiple support companies developing on the same product with different funding inputs, how is the community currently going to manage that? So like say PTFS Europe has the same development that's paid for by their customers as Grove does, that's paid for by a US based customer. Does Grove and PTFS Europe get together and share on a spec? How do you determine which path the community is going to take in that event?
I think that should be for the government's committee. I think that should be an agenda item on the government's committee. All right, so the next one we're going to go to Kate with AspenCon.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, my last reminder, well, first reminder, but last reminder of the year at this gathering for filling out your suggestions for what would you like to learn more about at AspenCon 2025. You can enter your own options as well. Please submit your votes until the end of the year. You can also see the current results. I believe this link should take you there as well. In case you're curious how other community members have voted, where the interest lays for next year, please feel free to explore those results. Again, the topics poll will close December 31st, and on January 1st, we will open our call for proposals. We are just finalizing the form. So this is something that I will be happy to share with you at our next gathering. Just keep that in mind. The call for proposals will close on April 1st, 2025. I'm sorry, I just really can't switch that in my head that I have to say 2025 instead of 2024. But even if I make a mistake, I'm sure you know what I mean. Registration for AspenCon will also open in April. Remember, it is free for both in-person and online attendees. So just keep that in mind that the cost that you'll have to cover is usually travel if you're not from Nashville. And if you are interested in sponsoring AspenCon, or if you know anybody who would be interested in that, please have a look at our sponsorship opportunities. Contact me, Bill, or anybody on the planning committee, and we'll be happy to assist you in case you're interested in one of the custom packages as well. And that's it from me about AspenCon, and I'll pass it over to Elise for some outreach updates.
All right, thanks, Kate. So I don't have too much today. We are on a hiatus for on conferences until the new year, but I do just want to give a shout out to our November Librarian of the Month. It was Molly Quinn from the Fayetteville Public Library in Arkansas. She's also the memeing librarian on social media. We love her. And then our community give back winner for November was the Whitewood Public Library in South Dakota. And they were able to use the funds to purchase books for their children's collection. So that's awesome. And we need some nominations. So please email outreach@bywatersolutions.com. Nominate someone at your library. And also we have lots of community give back opportunities. So we encourage you to apply to that as well. And I'm going to turn it back to Bill. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Elise. And I do want to pause. I want to give folks time to vote on the poll if did. We did put it in the chat. Really want to get the good ideas there. The Aspen Con Committee's been working really hard, trying to make sure we have everything put together. So for those of you that are on here that are on the committee, thank you. We appreciate y'all working on that. So I'm going to pause to see if there's any other questions. I think the previous question, we'll make sure we get that over to Aaron for the governance committee to kind of work on. And open time, if anybody has any questions. And if you were like me and your room got hot and you had a hat or something you want to wear, we would love to be able to get a picture. If y'all have a festive background too. We understand if folks don't, but if you do, please. Elise will take a picture here in a minute, won't you, Elise?
Yep. All right. Everybody that have their hats on that want them. Miranda, no. Okay, Mike, we'll give Michael just 1 second. Where?
And while we're waiting, I do want to appreciate everybody since we're at the end of the year. There's been a lot of work done this year, a lot of new partners join. Excited for the next year with the new developments going on and different organizations participating. It's really going to be a good year for Aspen next year, I think.
All right. Well, I see Michael has his hat on, so I think that is, oh, it's a pizza hat. I like it though. All right. Is everybody ready? All right. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Yay. Thank you.
All right. If no one has any, we can do. I am looking at the chat, and I'll make sure we gather all that. There were some good ideas. I think Tara had one for the community meeting to talk about, or we could start a thread in Slack on that conversation too. All right. If no one has any comments, thank you all. Hope you all have a wonderful end of the year, and we'll see y'all in January 2025.